And essentially, in the first large-scale investigation of the sex trafficking ring, the line prosecutor at the Department of Justice took sworn statements of over 40 minors who accused Epstein of trafficking. It was very clear in the recommendation for prosecution and the indictment that was drawn up at that time that he had committed federal crimes, including sex trafficking crimes as well as financial crimes. There was a massive body of evidence, and that body of evidence is sitting at the Department of Justice, as is that prosecution memo, the indictment, and all of that.
Conveniently covered up by Pam, bitch, Blondie, and
those are the files that
Cash Shitface Patel, Crazy Eyes Patel.
The reason why it's so important that these files get released is because it was not only Jeffrey Epstein who was essentially given a sweetheart deal. In fact, the U.S. attorney decided not to prosecute those crimes and instead cut this insane plea deal under local authorities, which allowed Jeffrey Epstein to be on work release to continue to abuse women and young women, and of course continue for years to engage in these criminal activities. And so there was a clear cover-up. There was a clear decision made at the United States Department of Justice to not prosecute these crimes. And for years, for decades, people have been demanding to understand why. Why was he not prosecuted? Why was he allowed to continue to commit these crimes? What deals were cut in back rooms and behind closed doors to protect him and also his associates and the people in his sphere that we know were also involved in these crimes? And so at the heart of all of this,
Democrats and Republicans,
the people, the young women, the children whose lives, their childhoods were stolen from them, and the miscarriage of justice that happened and the failure to prosecute him and his associates and all of the people who took advantage of these people. So that's
like Trump.
The substance of it. Legally, at the heart of this is about the prosecution of crimes. And it's really important to understand that we have a bipartisan investigation happening in Congress as part of our federal oversight authority. Part of Congress's role is to conduct oversight over federal agencies. And so the failure by the Department of Justice and the cover-up by the Department of Justice and FBI in the original investigation, and now the continuing cover-up that we're seeing